Week 14. Let's get it. What's up, everybody? It's Big Mike back again with the Ragsdale Rumble Week 14 presented by the Herb and Raj podcast. Sorry, I got distracted by the movement up there above my head. I am your host, Big Mike, as said. But we are here picking college football. I am joined by my co-host or my guests or really the talent of the show, if you really want to be honest with you. We'll start with you, Herb. How are you doing tonight?
How are you doing, Mike? I'm doing fantastically splendid. Are you doing well, though? Forget everyone else. How's Mike doing? Is Mike good?
In a row, he picks Herb first.
I'm doing okay.
I think last week he actually picked you first.
No, I picked you first. But I did this week because you actually won this week, which we will get to here in a second.
Oh.
I usually try to pick the winner of the week.
Do I take my shirt off now or wait till at the end of the show?
Please don't ever take your shirt off.
Well, let's leave him wanting more. Do it at the end of the show. That way all the ladies don't leave now because they get the goods at the beginning of the show. You got to save that as the tease for later. But I am doing very well. I'm not sure what kind of coffee or other caffeinated drinks you've been drinking because you're very amped up, and I would be too if if I had ever won a pick show, which is why I don't pick because I can't. But Raj, with that news now, how are you today?
Well, since I'm going second, I guess I'm just doing great. How are you doing, Mike?
At least you're still doing great. I mean, it's not fantastically splendid. I get that.
Just doing great, Mike. It's whatever at this point.
But if I could still be doing great on a bad day, I guess that would be great.
Yep.
But we'll review last week before we get into this week. It is week 14 of the Ragsdale Rumble. Herb did make the anti-Raj pick for Florida, which came through. It was the only difference of the week. And then Herb actually got a +1 on a cover on his underdog. And Raj, despite trying to pick a game that had already been played at first, got 0 points on it. So it is a 2-game deficit now. And we do still have a few weeks left. We know we're definitely doing this week with rivalry week. We've got championship week. We've got the bowl games and the playoffs. So there's still a lot left to go. So it's still anybody's game. All right. You guys ready?
Yep. No, but let's go.
Up first is the big game, Michigan and Ohio State. It is a big line, but it is a very big rivalry game. So we will pick this one. Herb, since you won last week, you're up first. Who do you have and why? And why is it Ohio State?
I mean, I just can't you have to approach it from why would I pick Michigan? And I just can't think of a single reason. They're already focused on next year and trying to figure that out. I think their defense maybe comes out feisty. Ohio State has some slow starts. Maybe it's tight for the first quarter, maybe the first half. But Ohio State's just too good. They've got too much talent. They've been hammered in this game in the past couple of years. I think they take it to them. I wouldn't be surprised starters still in the fourth if this even is out of hand and try to send a message to the committee. And looking forward to Oregon. So Ohio State handily.
Raj, do you agree?
Surprisingly, I agree with Herb.
Surprisingly, I agree with Herb 1,000%. It's just crazy to see how these two seasons have played out. I mean, Michigan obviously coming off their national championship undefeated season, blah, 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 blah. Ohio State, and there's questions with Ohio State at the beginning of the season, as far as the roster that they obtained and how they obtained the roster and how good they were going to be. So far, pretty much Ohio State has kind of lived up to its hype. Obviously, they have the loss against Oregon, but they put a whooping on Indiana. In this game, though, Ohio State's just better, way better on both sides of the ball, especially offensively. Michigan, we still don't even know who their quarterback's going to be. If they have a QB battle, I'm sure they'll have one. I was going to say they'll have one going into next season, but we pretty much know who their quarterback's going to be next year. But yeah, for this game, I've got Ohio State covering. I don't think this is going to be close. And again, to Herb's point, I can see them putting in their backups. Maybe we see a little Julian Sayin or Aaron Nolan or whoever their second, third string quarterbacks are later in the game. But Ohio State big.
All right, there we go. Moving right along, you have number 17, Clemson, hosting number 18, South Carolina. This one, Clemson is favored by 2.5. Roger up first. Who you got?
All right, this is a good one. I really, really like this pick. Both campuses are about 2 hours apart. So even though it's at Clemson, I mean, you're still going to be some South Carolina fans there deep. South Carolina is actually 1-9 in the past 10 meetings of these two guys. Clemson has pretty much dominated the rivalry over the past decade. Last year, Clemson did win 16-7. It was a close one. And I don't know how good South Carolina's defense was last year. With that being said, we know about South Carolina's defense this year. We know about their run game. We know about their offense. Could be better, but it's gotten them through some games. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pick South Carolina with the upset. I think they put some clamps on Klubnik. I actually said that. Or as Herb likes to call him, Clubber Lang. I think they put the clamps on him. I think that defense holds Clemson down, and I don't think Clemson's defense is going to be able to stop South Carolina's offense. So I'm going to go with Clemson or South Carolina in this game. I'm sorry.
All right, Herb.
I really wanted this to be an anti-Raj pick.
I mean, it still can be.
It can be.
Yeah, but like the thought of rooting for Clemson against South Carolina, we've seen South Carolina in person. I do think they have the much better defense. Feisty. I mean, the line even shows there's not a lot of faith in Clemson. If I picked Clemson, it's because I want the point. But even I think that South Carolina's winning this game.
Yep.
So I need
I'm
a
still
coin.
going to do it.
I don't know. All right, heads for Clemson because they're at home. Tails for South Carolina. I think that's heads.
Oh my
it's
God.
tails. Yeah, South Carolina.
All right. For the first ever coin flip pick, or at least the on-camera coin flip pick, I would imagine there's probably been at least one or two in the past. But
Definitely.
It's the first one you guys actually have gotten to see everybody going with South Carolina in this game.
Yep.
And that is two agreements in a row. Next up, number 8, Miami travels to the Carrier. Is it the Carrier Dome? Is that where Syracuse plays? Something like it's a dome. It's some kind of dome. Miami is favored by 10.5. Herb, you're up first. Who you got?
So I texted John from Cinco Squad to give me some insight if Syracuse had a shot in this one. Didn't receive a text back. So I don't know if that's a bad omen or not. But
is he one of the 15 people who ditched you on the Herb and Raj podcast?
Maybe so. Well, to be fair, out of the 15, Raj is like 5 of those people. But yeah, there's been a lot of ditching for Herb. If he texts me at the end of this, I'm gonna be really mad. But you know what? Go big or go home. Taking Syracuse at home to gash that Miami defense, get a huge upset win, and probably cost me the Syracuse bet that I had against them again. Taking Syracuse at home here.
All right, Raj, what you got?
I was hoping Herb would pick Miami so I could do my dance, but I got my notes in front of me. I also picked Syracuse. A lot of people might be.
What if I just switch to Miami? Then will you do the dance?
It's too late. You already picked. It's too late. It's already locked in. We already sent it to Vegas. A lot of people. This actually surprised me. I looked the stat up. Syracuse actually ranks first in passing yards per game in the ACC. I did not know that. I would have thought Miami would have been Miami. I don't know.
Yeah, or SMU, right? Like.
Yeah, I would have thought it would be them too. I even looked at both defenses. Both defenses are pretty much side by side. There's no real distinguishing area there. But Syracuse offense is actually doing pretty well. But I'm just going to take them in the upset. I've watched a lot more Miami games over this year, and I feel like again offensively, we know what they can do. But it seems like they always keep teams in the game. They always want to make it a close game, especially towards the end. And I think this is one they're going to let slip out of their hands. So I'm going to go Syracuse at home.
All right. I actually thought there would be a disagreement because I actually thought you would go with Miami. I kind of figured Herb would pick Syracuse with this. It's one of the reasons why we're doing this game because I know he had the bet with John at the beginning. That's very surprising, but another agreement. Next up, the grudge match that was born on the Herb and Raj podcast between two of our favorite people, Daily Joy and Air Raid Mike. Oklahoma versus LSU. Another night game in Baton Rouge, which again, I've heard apparently it's harder to play in Oklahoma than Baton Rouge at night. But LSU is favored by 6. Roger, up first. Who you got?
I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but I'm going to go with OU. I feel like they're going to duplicate the same style of play that they duplicated this past weekend. I'm sorry, against us. We did it to LSU, and we saw what
us. What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. We did it to LSU. And we saw the score was 42-13. We ran all over them. I think OU is going to do the same thing. I think they're going to try to run the ball all over LSU. I think their defense is going to put some clamps on Nussmeier. Nussmeier will get some passes out there because their passing game is actually going to be evident this weekend. But I'm going to go with OU in this one.
Apparently, in Rogers' world, everybody getting clamps. Club Nick got clamps. But I saw it, and I apologize, Herb. I saw the dance start, so I will hush now and let you continue to make your pick and show us the special Herb dance.
Visor off. Visor on.
You have to tell people you're taking the
Anti-Raj
visor off.
pick. Well, there's a guy that I used to do a show with, this goofy looking guy. He only had like one eye. I used to talk like this every time he talked. He always used to do theme music for shows, and that's what he would do. It's like say what he was doing sometimes.
How did he talk?
He used to talk like this wherever he used to do his show.
Oh, so you did a show with Popeye. Okay.
That's exactly the reference I got as well when he did that. I don't know if it was the mouth at the side, but Popeye was the first one I thought too. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, people used to say he looked like a black Popeye, so I mean, maybe that was him. He was like, I'm picking Oklahoma to win, but I am taking LSU. I don't think that Oklahoma could duplicate. I mean, I just feel like Nussmeier will actually hit some passes, so I don't think that same style of defense will work against them. And LSU at night got it in their season on a high note. Oklahoma
LSU at night. We've heard that one before.
Has anybody ever lost it? Like they've won all their games at night this year, to my recollection. So anyway, I'm taking LSU at home to win this game.
So you obviously don't think that they're going to be able to put the clamps on Nussmeier.
No clamps on Nussmeier.
All right, there we go. Our first disagreement of the week, ladies and gentlemen, comes in the OU LSU matchup. But moving right along, we'll see if it continues. Iowa State, number 22, actually hosts Kansas State. They are only favored by 2.5 at home. And I feel like you mentioned this earlier, too. I feel like 2.5 is really just a home field advantage in these kind of things. So you really don't know who's going to win. But Herb, you're up first. Who do you have?
Like, I don't even. This was that one where I was like, eh. So you know what?
I mean, you've already got. You've already got the coin.
We're going to go with a penny because that's how much I care about this game. All right. Heads is Iowa State because they're home. Tails is K-State because K-States have tails. What? Cyclones. Well, Wildcats have tails, but I guess technically, what are they? Iowa State, are they the Hurricanes? The Sycamores?
Cyclones.
Cyclones. There you go.
You had it right the first. You even said that a second ago.
Tails. So I will take the Wildcats.
Kansas State. All right.
On the road to win this one.
All right. Raj, do you have a coin or do you have analysis? Oh,
I got a dance.
I see the dance.
I'm going to take Iowa State. This is just my anti-Herb pick. Iowa State at home by 2.5. I think they cover.
Just admit that you didn't look up anything on this game.
You know what's funny about that? This is the one game that I have no stats by.
I told you. You did the same thing.
So I guess not only is it an anti-Herb pick, but it's also an anti-Lincoln pick.
It's an anti-stats pick. We both picked A-State and Iowa State.
This is the one game. No, this is actually two. There's two games, or actually, I'm sorry. This week, there's 3 games I have no stats by. 2 of them because I knew it was going to win. This is the one I'm just like, I had no idea it was going to win, so I just don't feel like looking.
I don't even know if this game's going to be on TV. That's how bad.
More than anything, it may just be an anti-Big 12 pick.
Could be.
They might not even play this game. They might just sim it on like college football and just give us the score.
So I'll go with Iowa State.
I know we don't have any Iowa State or K-State fans watching, so I feel confident in saying whatever I want.
And trashing them essentially.
Yeah, basically. I'm not trashing them. They're both fine programs, but I will not be watching. I might check out to see the final score at some point.
I mean, not at 6:30 at the same time OU and LSU is going to be on. I mean, I'm probably going to be watching. Well, no, because it's the same time as the Iron Bowl. No, the Iron Bowl's in the afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, we're 2:30.
I don't even know. Yeah, so I'll probably watch that one, OU and LSU. But and moving on to the other game that I probably would imagine you didn't have any stats on because you knew who you were going to win. Notre Dame and USC. Notre Dame is favored by 7.5. USC is at home. Roger up first.
I do. I only have like a little stats for this game. I'm going to go with Notre Dame simply because USC's offense has just been putrid the past 2 to 3 weeks. I just don't think they're going to be able to put up enough points to kind of compete with Notre Dame. We know what they did to Army and Navy as far as Notre Dame, and they put up some big points against those teams. But I think Notre Dame's defense and their offense will kind of get them by in this game. So I think Notre Dame will cover. Although I would not mind seeing USC win this game.
Yeah.
Hurt?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, this was one I was like, man, USC was looking good to start the year. Notre Dame had that loss to the whole northern half of Illinois. I was like, okay. And now it's just like Notre Dame has been beating up on America, and USC is just not, fulfilling any of their potential. That's why Raj likes Notre Dame, by the way, but that's a whole conversation for another time. So I can't see a reason to pick USC. So I'm going Notre Dame in this one. They probably win this one big too.
Yep.
All right, everybody going Notre Dame. And next up, the game of the week. Number 3, Texas, going into Texas A&M, number 15. Favored by 5.5 points on the road. Herb, you're up first. Who you got?
I mean, you see Texas A&M basically get what?
I see them. They're on the screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So coming off of last week's loss, that's a heartbreaker winning in Jordan-Hare, but you can forgive that because strange things happen at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
They were already looking ahead to this game, right? And I'm right. The winner of this gets to face Georgia, which, by the way, Texas A&M versus Georgia will be a terrible, terrible SEC championship game. So having said that, I'm still picking Texas A&M with the upset at home. Rude awakening for Texas. Knock them out of the SEC championship. Daily Joy will hate this pick. So she actually sees this video. I expect bad words, but I'm taking him at home.
Well, maybe you'll make up because you picked LSU earlier. So maybe it'll equal out there. Raj, who you got?
I don't know. I feel like this is one of those games that really could have gone either way. And this is actually a game Herb and I talked about several weeks ago. And I think I told him I'm going to pick A&M to upset Texas. But I'm going to change my mind. After what I've seen for A&M the past few weeks. And I
with
feel
no
like
dance?
No dance. Because I don't know if this is really an anti-Herb pick. I'm actually giving good analysis about this one.
I'm
not going to give it. He actually looked at a stat.
I actually looked at A-stat, but I know that, but A&M gave a 41 or 44 to Auburn last week. But again, now to Her's point, they played in Jordan-Hare, which anything could happen. I just feel like Texas is going to be more prepared for this game offensively and defensively, and I am really looking forward to seeing the Texas-Georgia rematch. I'm going to go with Texas in this game.
All right, that makes our third disagreement, so there will definitely be movement in the score coming up this week, or maybe, because we do still have our underdog picks of the week. It is no longer a challenge, but you do have to make some underdog picks. Herb, I'll let you go up first. Who you got?
I missed the challenge. I feel cheated. I don't want to make a pick. I'm kind of glad I'm going first because I don't know if I'm still in Raj's pick here, but there was only like 3 that I had out there, and now I realize that one of them was a game we were picking anyway, so that would have invalidated that. So I am taking Utah +9 versus UCF as my underdog pick. I have been very underwhelmed by UCF this year. Utah, even though they don't score enough points to get me the 2-point win on this one, I feel like they will muck up the game and keep it close enough. So I'm taking Utah.
Raj, what you got?
I'm surprised because I actually thought Herb was going to pick the Tennessee-Vandy game as his pick and maybe take Vandy. But I'm going to follow the format that I picked last week, even though I went a day late or whatever the case may be. I'm going to pick a Tuesday. I'm going to pick a game that's being played on Tuesday night because I was right last week. I was just a day late reporting it. So Tuesday night, which is tomorrow. So we're talking about this right now. Toledo is an 8-point favorite to Akron. I'm simply just going to take Akron. Again, it's a Tuesday night game. It worked last week for me, although it officially didn't work. I'm going to make sure it works this week. I'm going to take Akron to win by a couple points tomorrow. You know what?
No, give me the exact. Okay, Akron by a field goal. So you're taking they're 8-point underdogs. You're taking them by a field goal.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Utah a 9-point underdog. Akron an 8-point underdog. We'll see if there's any bonus points to be added this week. We have actually added bonus points every week, so hopefully that trend will continue.
All right.
Next up, the game we've all been waiting for, the Iron Bowl. Oddly enough, the first Iron Bowl in a while for Alabama that really the only reason for the game is just to beat Auburn. There's no playoff implications. There's no SEC championship implications. It's really just to beat little brother up. Raj, what do you think about the game this weekend?
So some people say there are no playoff implications, and then there's some people out there that are in some weird worlds think that we can still make the playoff magically because statistically, there's a chance that a 3-loss team gets in. Blah 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 blah. I'm to Mike's point. I just want to beat up on Auburn. I want them to kind of. They have I think they're 5-6, so I don't want them to have a chance to go into the Birmingham Bowl or whatever bowl they might actually go to if they actually won.
I actually went to see them in the Birmingham Bowl when Houston beat them. That was fun.
You did. And we saw on social media today where all the Auburn players are coming out and talking some trash before the game, which is pretty much, we hear every year. We need to go out and strong. We're undefeated at home this year. This is one game Kalen DeBoer, we couldn't afford to lose the other games, but this is one game Kalen DeBoer really just does not want to lose.
No.
If he was to lose this game, the criticism would just go over the roof. It would be ridiculously crazy, and people would want his head cut off, blah, 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 blah.
His head cut off?
Not his head cut off, but you know what I mean.
It's rough in these
that
streets,
escalated quickly.
Don't let me catch you in these streets, DeBoer.
I like DeBoer, and I like our coaches, and I like our systems.
I agree.
They're not always 100% out. They don't always work, but I like what we've got here. I want Kalen DeBoer to end this season on a good note. Obviously, if we win or we lose, we have a bowl game. I get that, but I want him to end the regular season on a high note. I do think this game is going to be a little closer than we want it to be, but I feel like offensively, our game plan, whatever it may be, will actually work this Saturday. So I'm going to take Alabama, of course.
Score?
I'm going to go 28-21. I think it's going to be a little closer than we want it to be.
Definitely.
And plus, with it being the Iron Bowl, both teams are going to be playing up to their potential. So I'm going to go 28-21 Alabama.
Fortunately, Raj's analysis is dead on. I think the biggest thing, you always hate to have it on one person, but it's like, which middle road do you get? I feel like he's going to feed off the crowd, play better. For everything that we talk about the defense, and yeah, Auburn is probably going to try and run and slow, take the clock, slow it down, whatever. But this past week, and the defense gave up 10, and the offense gave them 14.
Yep.
Or 13 and a half. You want to say they did have an 8-yard drive, whatever it was. But I just feel like, first off, I would never pick Auburn anyway. I don't care. But even the Cam Newton Auburn, I wouldn't pick. But you just got to think that we get a bounce back at home. Milroe plays better. Keep your very, very slim playoff hopes alive, which I don't think we should be in the playoff. But if other people want to vote them, that's fine by me. But yeah, Alabama at home, I'm taking this. If this game was at Auburn, I wouldn't want to watch this Saturday. Let's just say that much. But at home, I feel like a little bit of an edge. I'm going Alabama 24-21.
All right. Both guys picking a very close game. There we have it. It should be a wonderful Saturday of football. Not only Saturday, a Friday, a Wednesday, pretty much all week of football, with it being the holiday week. Hopefully you guys have a great holiday and enjoy the football this week. And as always, roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.